Well, more serious is over Hillary Clinton's email habits surfacing just 48 hours before the next presidential debate. In fact, moments ago, the Friday dump occurred. That's right, the State Department releasing yet another batch of emails recovered by the FBI, and another set of emails obtained by the Republican National Committee showing the White House expressed concerns about Clinton's emails before she announced her candidacy for president. Jennifer Palmieri, the White House communications director, who now works for the Clinton campaign, asked Jen Psaki at the State Department, saying back then, I think we can get this done so he's not asking about emails, referring to a TV appearance scheduled for Secretary of State John Kerry. At the time, the White House replied, agreed completely and working to crush on my end. Joining now, let's discuss liberal commentator Danielle McLaughlin, former New York Lieutenant Governor, is back with us. Betsy McCoy and her best friend, Heat 3 political editor Jillian Melcher. All right, Danielle, I got to start with you because you're the person I know for a fact here voting for Hillary Clinton. This never stops. This, if you can, I'm sorry, well, didn't mean to bring that up. So there are people who this is an indictment for a lot of people against the mainstream media, against a government that interfered and knew something illegal was happening and tried to make it go away. By the way, John Kerry in that interview was not asked about Hillary Clinton's emails. Well,
the first thing is to CBS. CBS was interviewed for the story and they commented and they said that their editorial standards were maintained. So we have that.
What standards are those?
Well, that they would not be told which questions that they would be able to ask and would not be able to ask, number one. Number two, even Dana Perino, who worked in the George Bush White House, has said that this kind of thing can happen. And remember, this is state and the White House. This is not the Clinton campaign and the White House. It was about 4 months before she announced her run, although of course they knew that she was going to run. But I think we just have to kind of be careful about how we analyze this and not impute too much doing into something that frankly happens all the time.
You know, if this was Betsy, go ahead.
Okay, well, look, I've been in government. I've been in the private sector. I've run a not-for-profit. And whenever I left any of those positions, I never erased the record of what I did while I was on that job. And that's really what we get to. All the people listening know, when I leave work, do I erase my emails so nobody knows what I did on my job? That's the real issue.
I want to point out that what we're really seeing today is more of the same from both candidates. We have Hillary Clinton not being transparent, not being honest.
Well,
saying a lot doesn't apply to her. But you've also got Trump.
But we're also seeing, though, the idea that perhaps the mainstream media has been complicit in this, and perhaps the White House knew a lot more about this email saga, including the president using an anonymous email handle to communicate on that same private email server that he asked Hillary not to give, but she got it because she didn't respect him enough as president, and she's always been underhanded. That's the narrative that people are seeing.
Sure. I think we have to be careful. I want to respond to what Betsy said. This notion that she somehow dumped all these emails and deleted these emails is not true. Her own team went through the emails, decided what was personal and what was not, which they are within their rights to do.
What was the bleach thing for? Why?
Yeah,
okay, so I'll get to that.
That's used by professional criminals.
It's shady. It's pretty shady.
It sounds bad, and I always have the job of unwinding this for you. So this was done by a contractor as a part of the service that was done in Colorado. This was not a Clinton team person. And by the way, that deletion was done at the...
They worked for her. They worked for her.
But look at
saying, I'm sorry, I didn't delete all my emails.
Here's what I think is really important, though, as we're talking about the broader application in politics right now. It takes so much explaining to go through the Clinton scandal. With what's happening with Trump, it's reinforcing his character, the problems we've known all along, and you can sum it up in a word. It's not a word you can say on TV, but these are flawed candidates.
But still, I think at the end of the day, we're talking about the Secretary of State understanding what her job was and circumventing that, or just simply ignoring the rules.
And the public knows no matter what job you have, you leave the records intact when you move from that job to something else.
Unless you don't want people to see those.
That's right.
Sorry, guys.
Honest
Special
people
programming
don't do
note
it.
for you. Fox Business will have special coverage of the next presidential debate. That's Sunday. You're going to catch Trish Regan, Lou Dobbs, and then Neil Cavuto, all with the expert analysis of Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton's next major face-off. It's Sunday.